What is up, guys, and welcome back to a new episode of Cozy Talks. This week we have a new event, which is UFC London. It is Mosvar Evliov versus Liron Murphy. Prelims start at 10 a.m. and main card starts around noon. I feel pretty good about this card. It is going to be an early one. Should be a banger though. Really hyped for the main event. How are you feeling about it, Joe?
Yeah, UFC London usually puts on great cards. We had Sean Brady and Leon Edwards last time they were there, so they got a lot to live up to. But I think this card does have quite a bit of talent on it. A lot of young prospects that I think can make a name for themselves on this card. I'm excited for it. I think it's gonna be a fun card to watch and definitely get some spots in on. But yeah, I think overall it looks like a pretty fun card. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys like the video, comment, subscribe, share with some of your buddies. We appreciate the support wherever we can get it. We've been pushing hard on our vertical platforms with TikTok and Instagram. So if you haven't already, if you've been on our YouTube only, go check out the other platforms because those have been getting used a lot more as of late. So we appreciate the support. With that being said, let's get into our UFC London full card breakdown. So, first fight of the night, we got the ladies going at it. Melissa Mullins, Luana Carolina, and the women's bantamweight division. Um, what's my pick in this one? I'm probably on the side of Luana Carolina just because of the UFC experience. And she is the younger prospect, quote unquote. If they're both prospects, she's definitely the younger one. So I think that's where my pick lies in this one. What about you, Z?
Yeah, I mean, Luana Coralina, I kind of am on the side of Carolina here going into this fight. I feel like Carolina is she's gonna have the more experience against Melissa Mullins. If you go and you look at Tapology for Melissa Mullins' record, she does participate in a lot of grappling events
She
outside of the
loses.
UFC, but she's only won one and she's lost a lot of others. So
Mm,
that kind of tells me everything I need to know just a little bit. She's not she 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 she's clearly making the effort, to
yeah.
improve a area in her game that she lacks in, which is
Mm,
obviously grappling and the wrestling part of the game. And
yeah.
I feel like Luana Carolina will have the edge when it comes to that. Because I mean, her fight against Montague, though Montague beat her, Carolina looked very good whenever she had Montague up against the cage, when she had grappling control, when she had her hooks in and all that. And I feel like she's gonna be the same in this fight. And Carolina's also she's also kind of big.
Mhm.
She's also kind of a big girl for her division. I mean, when she fought Montague, obviously Montague looked a lot bigger, but Carolina, I I got the side of Carolina here.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think the striking is gonna be kinda nullified on both sides of this. I think, it's low level women's MMA, it kinda just is what it is. But I will talk yeah, I will say that Carolina has fought, I would say, the better opposition. She fought Michelle Montague, which she came from PFL, and she was kind of a problem over there. And on the other side, Melissa Mullins, her last time out, she lost to Daria. Not even gonna bother saying it. And then she beat Claudia Segula, and Claudia Segula is a girl that we have had talked about previously, and we talked about how she wasn't very skillful. Um, Obviously, Bosa Mullins beat her, and then her last time out, she lost to Nora Coronel. And the one other thing I want to point out in this fight is Melissa Mullins has had two occasions where she has had weight problems and came in heavy on the scales. So I will just mention that in case, we see a bit of that this weekend. Hopefully we don't. Hopefully this fight goes through. I'd love to see all these fights make it through. But that is a problem that we've had in the past. So hopefully, she nips it in the butt. We don't see that again. But yeah, with that being said, let's move into the next fight. We got another women's bout, open up with two women's bouts on UFC London. Chanel Dyer making her debut. She's coming from PFL as well. Well, she was actually a contender series fighter, but before that, she was on the PFL against Ravenna Oliveira. My pick in this one is Chanel Dyer. I've heard people compare her to like the Angela Hill, or like 'cause she kind of just has like the long body and the long frames for this
Yeah.
division. Um, I mean, I kind of see it. I agree. I don't think she's going to be right now in her career. I don't see her being some sort of like world beater for the strawweight division, but I think she is skillful enough in her striking. Um, that I think she could really deal with a Rebecca Oliveira who will try to grapple and will try to, rub you against the cage and really wear down on you. I think Chanel Dyer
Yeah.
can, circle off and manage range, and find the strikes. I mean, I see this fight going to the scorecards, just like I saw like I said, I think the last one's gonna go to scorecards as well. I forgot to mention that. I think this one will probably be another one that goes to the scorecards. If not, we might be seeing like a late round finish, like late third Chanel Dyer, finish. But yeah, not much to really say here. It's more young girls. It's more girls looking to develop. So not much to really expect here in these fights.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you here. I got Dyer fight. I do think that eventually, when she gets some more experience, she gets some more UFC experience under her belt. I feel like Dyer could be a problem. She's only
Mhm.
24 years old, and
Yeah,
when she made her debut, um, against Foro was it? Carol Foro, um, when she had fought her.
yeah, on Canary Series.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that was just kind of like a stump a little bit
Mhm.
coming into the UFC. She fights a girl with a little bit more experience than her, and I mean, she didn't get bitched or anything. Took her to decision. I feel like Dyer could get it done in this fight against Ravina Oliveira. She's I'm pretty sure she's lost her only two UFC fights. But like you said, both these girls are young. Dyer, though, in my opinion, I think she is the better prospect in this fight. So I got Dyer to get it done.
All right, moving on.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next fight in the prelims, we get Shamrock versus Abdul Karim El Salwati. Um,
Okay. Okay, Joe.
I mean, I will just start this off by saying Abdul Karim has not fought in 2 years. His loss was 2 years ago to Aloic Radzabov, who is not even in the UFC anymore. Um, and Shamrock, last time we saw him out, he fought Nuru Aliev, which I think is a tough test. I thought Aliev looked really good. I think he is just a takedown artist. I think he's a guy who has really high level wrestling. He just kind of has that same sort of like Khabib Islam style where it's just like wet blanket. You know, there's not much you can do about it. Shamrock is known for having some pretty high level jujitsu. I mean, his MMA career, he's only had two losses. One of the losses was to Aliev, and the other was, back in the day. He's a guy who's under the wing of Patty Pimblett, and I think he's gonna have the upper hand, even though he is the underdog. I think he's gonna have the upper hand. One, because he has been more, consistent fight wise. He has, in the time that Buddy has been out, he's had 3 fights. So is there gonna be ring rust? Who knows? I mean, I've never watched Abdul Kareem. He's a guy that I can't really say I've ever watched outside of like film. Um, but we know kind of what to expect. A lot of these guys that come out of the Palestine and the Middle East kind of all have the same sort of like game plan. It's a little bit of striking, but it's a lot of grappling. And I think if there is going to be grappling involved, I really hoping Shamrock has the upper hand here, especially like I said, being the guy who's under Patty's wing, being another guy that's out of the UK who does have I feel like has had more success when it comes to submission game, but we'll see.
Yeah, I got the side of Shamrock in this fight. I don't really know a whole lot about this other guy, Pride of Palestine. Palestine. Sound like a real fucking retard when I had said that. I don't know a whole lot about, you know, I don't. But
Yeah,
I will say this, another thing as well is there is only a few guys, and all I can really say is that there's one that comes to the top of my head who come out of these areas of the world and that are actually good.
who is it?
Well, it's Bilal Muhammad,
There you
but
go. Yeah,
I mean that's like the only guy that I can name off the head. All the other fighters that try to come out of this area of the world, they usually get fucking starched.
yeah.
And the fact that Buddy hasn't fought in a long time, Shamrock, he's coming off that loss, and now they're giving him an opportunity to fight at home in front of his home crowd.
As a
Yeah,
dog?
yeah, as an underdog, as a day, a week, yeah, almost 6 days out from the event.
Yeah.
Shamrock is currently an underdog. Yeah, I'm going with Shamrock to win this fight.
All right. Moving on to our next fight. We got the big dogs going at it. Z, what do you got in this one?
I got Brando
Per-
Prekic,
Per- Pericic.
Perchick. Yeah, I got Perchick to win this fight. I got Brando Perchick to win this fight. Um, another reason why I started to like this dude is because I started to see his Instagram profile a whole lot. This dude's really fucking funny.
Really?
He's just
You'll just
hella
send me some of
funny.
his shit.
I think there's like this one thing he's like standing out the window and he's like wearing a thong or some shit and he like drops his robe and he's just standing there in his thong. You know, this dude's really funny. And I mean, he another thing as well is that he trains out of city kickboxing. You know, he trains with all those high level striking dudes. You know,
Mhm.
Dan Hooker, Izzy, Kai Kara, Navajo Sterling. You got a lot of dudes coming out of that fighting gym. So I got Brando to come out here and absolutely put belt to ass against Louis Sutherland. I think Brando, you know, he's another dudes who moves like a middleweight.
Mhm.
You know, he's a big ass dude, but he moves very quick, and he has a lot of strength in his punches. We saw him when he fought Elisha Ellison. Last time they were down under, and Brando put straight belt to ass. You know,
Walk
he
through him.
yeah touched him up real quick, rocked him real bad, and then just finished him on the ground. So I got Brando. I can't say his fucking last name for some reason.
Yeah, yeah, I'm on the same side as you. I got Brando in this one. Louis Sutherland, last time we saw him, he got heel hooked by Walter Walker. And they need to really just update this picture because Louis Sutherland looks nothing like that. He's not fucking some roided out fucking dude with the flex shoulders. He is kind of one of the one of the chubbier heavyweights. He does have, I mean, he does look pretty buff, but he's not some freak. And when he originally came over to the UFC, I thought he was gonna be a problem because he was on this whole win streak here, but he's not doing a whole lot. I think Brando is really gonna punish him. He's bigger than Louis. He's 6'5". He's got almost an 80-inch reach. And yeah, I think this one's gonna be over pretty quick. I think this will probably be a round one knockout for Perisic again. Um,
I mean, in reality, fight right here will kind of give us a scope on Sutherland's trajectory in his career with the UFC. Because to be fair, the Walter Walker loss, it's kind of it's 100% understandable. Walter Walker is catching all these he's catching all these fucking big dudes
yeah,
with his crazy heel hook. And prior to that, Sutherland has two other fights that he finished all within the last year. So he's three fights in, and you know just this within a year of Jesus Christ, bro, I coughed and now I lose train of thought. He's had three fights in this one span, this
yeah.
year span. So I mean, this right here will 100% tell us the trajectory that Louis Sutherland is on, but unfortunately, he's going up against like Brando, you know,
Big.
who you just said, you know, he's the bigger fighter, and he moves fucking fast. You know, he moves
Mhm.
very fast.
Yeah, yeah. This one could be over pretty quick. We'll see how this ends. I'm hoping so. It's a heavyweight fight. Uh,
Yeah, 100%.
Next fight.
Um,
Prelim fight. This one's gonna be another quick one, fellas. We got
this fight should honestly open up the card. I mean, this should honestly open up the card.
yeah, we got Antonio Trocoli versus Montas Contratavicius. Um, this can be a quick one for us. I think Montas can go out and starch, buddy. Montas fought on the Contender Series, and he gave straight belt in the Contender Series. Antonio Trocoli, I don't rate him high whatsoever. I mean, he's on a 3-fight losing streak. Lost to Shara. Shara is an okay, understandable loss, right? Loses to Trayshawn Gore, young prospect, gets fucking choked by Standing Gilly, and then he loses to Mansoor. I mean, he's the guy that's losing to all the prospects. I mean, he's the guy that they're kind of laying up to all these guys to kind of give give a boost in the rankings. But I think Alassier probably gets Struckley out of there. You can't keep losing to prospects. Eventually, you got to win one, right? But it's not going to happen
Yeah.
here. I think Montas is going to go out there and knock his ass out.
You see, I'm just gonna be completely blunt. I'm probably not gonna touch this fight whatsoever.
Yeah, 575.
If I were, I would probably put it like on a parlay where this fight's not going the distance. But I'm gonna give you this little piece right here.
Mhm.
How many fights have we seen this year where we get this young prospect coming up against a fucking dude who's been in the UFC for more than a couple of fights and he's been getting starched? The dude is a massive underdog and the prospect is a massive fucking favorite. How many times have we seen this massive underdog pull it out of their ass and get the win?
Do you have a fight in mind where you're thinking of this?
Luke Fernandez versus fucking Rodolfo Bellato. I mean, Luke Fernandez was
Yeah,
another dude who was coming off the Contender Series
yeah,
with the finish. Wasn't Tobias coming off of the
you,
Contender Series with the finish?
yeah, and then he fought uh
He fought
Dr. Yeah,
Dyer, and both those dudes were pretty heavy favorites going into those fights
okay,
when they met the fucking the dude who's been in there for a couple more than a couple of fights. I mean, and to be fair, the only loss that I would say is bad for Tricoli here is the Trayshawn Gore
yeah, I
loss.
agree with that.
But the Shar Bullet and who else did he lose to? Shar Bullet
M-
and
Mansoor,
Mansoor. I mean,
those are
those are
understandable.
understandable. Those are 100% understandable. So, in all, I would sprinkle a little bit on Tricoli here. I would just sprinkle a little bit because I mean exactly like how you had just said, Buddy's 3-0 or he's 0-3 in the
Yeah,
UFC right now.
mhm,
And to be fair, this is probably his last fight on his contract because a lot of the times these dudes who are joining the UFC, they only get about like a 4, 5, 6 fight contract,
yeah,
and depending on how this next fight goes, if he loses this, that might be it. There goes your job. There goes
yeah,
your job. Now you're gonna have to look for fucking go get knocked out a few times on Bellator to make a couple more bucks. I mean, Tricoli,
yeah.
man, this is your job on the line. So that's also kind of another reason why I'm leaning Tricoli is because you get starched here by another young prospect who's coming up. Yeah, man, that's probably it for you.
It's probably wraps.
I feel like if Tricoli were to get a win here, he be able to snake out a couple more fights, get himself a couple more checks, rather than being sent straight to the curb after this fight. So, yeah, overall, my pick is this fight not going the distance. And if you want to be a little degenerate, sprinkle a little bit on Tricoli. I mean,
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I'm just on the side of Montas. I mean, when all these fights that he's winning have been, inside the distance wins. So I trust the guy to get the killer instinct going on a guy who has been
no, and I mean,
finished in
like,
three in a row.
it's highly, I feel the same way, but like another thing as well is like, man, this year with UFC has been completely different. Cuz
Yeah,
you show me this fight back in 2024, 2025, Montas is going to bitch him in round 1 and it's going to happen.
right.
It would fucking happen. Now I sit here and I tell you Montas is going to bitch your Coley in round 1. Let's wait. Let's
Oh,
wait and let's see what fucking happens because I guarantee you Montas is probably not gonna finish him in round 1.
okay. All right, let's move.
I don't know. That's just I don't know. We'll save that for later. We'll save that for later. Let's
All
get
right.
into the next fight here.
Yeah, you got Mario Pinto and Felipe Franco. What's the pick, Z? I think it's pretty
I'm
pretty
picking
obvious,
Mario
right?
Pinto. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very fucking obvious. Mario Pinto is gonna go out there and absolutely flatline him. Mario Pinto is just one of those dudes who came into the UFC and he's just been walking dudes down. And in the point in some of these fights where it looks like Pinto is losing, just keep watching because I mean Pinto is just gonna completely fucking turn it around and he's just gonna absolutely fucking mollywop like how he's been doing to some of these dudes. One of my favorite knockouts is fucking Mario Pinto flatlining Austin Lane, just
Hmm.
straight folding him.
Yeah.
And Felipe Franco here, he lost to Freddie Vidal on the Contender
Little ass
Series.
dude.
Yeah. So Mario Pinto, the fucking big fucking Goliath, bro. Big Goliath
Mm,
coming in here, and he's gonna fucking lay down some nasty fucking strikes on Franco, and he's gonna put him out.
yeah, yeah. Mario Pinto's ranked too, I'm pretty sure, and that's why it's such a weird fight. Because Felipe Franco lost on Contender Series, went back to regional scene, did his thing in regional, whatever, and then they're giving him Mario Pinto. Like that's what I'm talking about with the heavyweight division, bro. It's like it's just such a weird fucking little like carousel they got going on where they're giving
Well, see,
out some of the weirdest fights.
it's not even the heavyweight division, you know? We see a lot of these weird matchmaking with a lot of these. I mean, lately, yes, it has been the heavyweight division.
Yeah,
You know, one fight I'll keep on mentioning until it happens is Josh Hokic versus Curtis Blades. Why the fuck is that happening? But
yeah,
anyways, there's there, there there's like terrible matchmaking all around. You know, exactly like how you just said. Franco goes and loses on the Contender Series, and then goes and wins two more on the regional scene. And now he's getting a 3-0 Mario Pinto, who's been starching dudes in the UFC. This is more of like a buildup for Mario Pinto, in my opinion.
and Z. I will mention this: Felipe Franco is a light heavyweight going up to heavyweight for this fight.
See, like this doesn't make any sense, you know? Like I feel like all you really need to do. No, I'm not gonna say all that. I'm not gonna say all that. It's just weird. You know, it's
Right.
weird. It really feels like all you really need to do is go and get a couple finishes on the regional scene, and then the UFC is gonna be calling to your door so that they could bring you in and feed you to some fucking journeyman, or to some dude who's making his prospect run in the UFC, and he's been starching guys. Like, for example, Pinto versus Franco right here. So it is weird. It is very weird. Some of these matchmaking. It's just some of these. It's weird, you know. And one of the things I've been preaching about to Joe a lot recently is that ever since the UFC has been bought out by Paramount, or they weren't bought out, but Paramount bought them for 7 years, UFC's been real fucking weird, bro. I don't know, like there's like this video in Resident Evil where the character is just running through the he's just running through the woods, bro, and he's just running through the fog. That's how it feels. That's exactly how it feels. You know, but I guess we'll see. We're still pretty early into the year, as you know, terms of events for
Mhm.
the UFC. You know, we still have a lot of shit, you know, planned out for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Um, it is kind of disappointing though. You know, I feel like we should make a video for the White House card, but it is a little disappointing though because we were kind of anticipating a lot of these bigger historic fights to be on the White House card, and we're not getting that. We're not really getting that. And instead, we get Sean Strickland versus Hamzat Chimaev announced, and it kind of makes me feel like what's left for the rest of the year. Like I said though, we still are kind of, you know, that's like midway through the year,
Yeah.
so you know, who knows what's going on the rest of the year, but as of right now, I am not really happy as a UFC fan. Sorry, I went on a little bit of a rant there, but I feel like it was kind of needed. It was kind of warranted because some of the shit that we were talking about. But overall, Mario Pinto's gonna come out here and absolutely bitch Felipe Franco. I don't understand why this matchup is happening.
Yeah. Let's move on. Next fight. We finally get the debut of Los Kita versus Nathaniel Wood. This fight feels a lot closer than some people may have it. I think the odds kind of suggest that as well. You know, minus 180, 155. Um, I'm on the side of Los Kita though. I think you know, he did fumble the bag a bit, not getting his debut fight against Patricio Pitbull because he came in heavy. But now you get Nate Wood, who is a very seasoned vet and is a bit of a problem himself. You know, Nate Wood, we saw him beat Jose Delgado before that beat Morgan Charrier, and he's a tough out for sure. I mean, Delgado, I will mention Delgado did drop him in the first, but then Nate Wood came back and won 2-3. Listen, Keita, he's 16-1. He was a brute over in what's the name of this fucking promotion again? Can't think of the name. Octagon. He was a brute in Octagon. He was a title holder, and I mean he's just a problem. He's one of those guys with the dense hands. He's got a lot of power, um, and he's got good footwork, good kickboxing. Um, I'm just really curious what the wrestling's gonna get look like. I mean,
Yeah.
you were originally gonna fight Pitbull, who is obviously like one of the ghosts of MMA for Bellator. And you go from that to now you're matched up with Nate Wood. And Nate Wood is, I wouldn't say he's similar to Pitbull, but like the skill set is kind of similar where you're getting a guy who has pretty good striking and he also has a decent skill set when it comes to wrestling. And I think the wrestling is going to be the something is going to be that something that Los Kidd is going to have to address because I think on the feet he's gonna have more success. I think his kicks are gonna be better. I think he's gonna stay longer. Um, he is the bigger fighter, 5'9" versus 5'6". They don't have his reach on here, which I think is pretty funny because you know he's been around for a little bit. So, but yeah, I think
Well,
my pick in this one's Kita.
if you're really curious, anticipate his reach to look something like a Teba Gautier, Francis Ngannou. I was comparing this guy
See if I can look it up.
to a baby Francis Ngannou. My only problem here in this fight is the ability that Nathaniel Wood has to scramble. I feel like that's going to be the biggest problem for Kieta here is, Nathaniel Wood gets rocked. He's 100% going to get rocked. I believe Kita is going to go out there and he's going to just fucking rock him. What are you looking at?
I found his reach. They're saying his reach is 72 inches. So it's a long reach. I mean, it's a long featherweight reach. That's a fucking long ass reach for featherweight.
You usually see dudes who are like middleweight, welterweight with a 72-inch reach. Most of the time these taller dudes are like 76, 75-inch reach, but the most average reach I've seen for like a lot of these heavier dudes is about 70 to 72 inches. So that's pretty fucking crazy. He has a 12-inch reach advantage on Nathaniel Wood going into this fight. Because what is that? Is that 60 or 69?
69. So he has a 3-inch reach.
Oh, I thought that was 60. My fault. My
But
fault. My
I mean,
fault. I was about to
I think
say
that's gonna totally just feed into what I was just talking about. I think the striking is gonna be
100
all Black Panther here.
100%. I personally feel like is how is Kieta gonna deal with the scrambling from Nathaniel Wood? Because 100% Kieta's gonna find his chin and he is gonna drop him in this fight. But my only issue is Kieta gonna gas out if he smells
Hmm.
that blood in the water? Is
Hmm.
Kieta gonna go and hunt for that finish? And then there's the end of the first round. Nathaniel Wood survived. Okay, now going into the second round, Kieta same fucking thing, trying to hunt for that finish, trying to rock Nathaniel Wood again. Nathaniel Wood scrambles, survives, ends up surviving and winning the round. Now Kieta's gassed.
Yeah,
Now going into the third round, Nathaniel Wood starts to take over. That right there is my biggest scare.
that is pretty realistic, though. I think that
That is
is what
very
could definitely
realistic because
happen.
but I mean, overall, am I kind of like replaying what happened in Jose Delgado fight a
Hmm.
little bit, just a little bit? But I feel like I see that happening 100% because Lucien Chieta, exactly like what you said, he was one of those dudes who's fucking a powerhouse coming out of his fucking
Octagon.
his regional scene. Yeah, coming out of Octagon. Hella knockouts underneath his belt.
Yeah.
I still think he could get a knockout in this fight. I don't think I officially said my pick, but my pick is going to be Lucien Chieta. I think Lucien Chieta can get it done. But everything I just said right there is my only concerns in this fight. Overall, I think Chieta can get this fight done by knockout.
All right. Let's move on to the next fight on the prelim. This is our featured prelim. We got two dogs going at it. Mason Jones, Axel Sola, and off the air, my pick was Mason Jones, but then Z and I watched a documentary, which I'm sure you were going to talk about, so I apologize.
Yeah,
And
no, that's all right.
we were watching a documentary on Axel Sola, and now he's my official pick. I'm just a lot more confident now that I see that he addressed the one thing that was a red flag for me because Mason Jones is a wrestler. We know he's going to come out and he's going to attack the wrestling. He trains in a BJJ gym. Um, and Axel Sola, we know he has great kickboxing, he has great range, and he tore apart Reese McKee when they fought. He got that late finish in the third. Um, and Mason Jones, I mean, he's got a head of a brick, bro. You're not gonna get out of there easy with the striking. But I think Axel Sola has a better skill set. I think his striking is gonna be cleaner. I mean, he's undefeated for a reason, and you know he's finding finishes on guys that he should. And he went to Dagestan, he went to Makhachkala, Russia, and he got trained up in the wrestling, which I think is a big deal. You go to Russia to really hone your skills. That's a big deal. So yeah, I think Axel Sola can get this done. I don't know if we see a finish. I mean, I will say Axel Sola is definitely more than capable of getting a finish on Mason Jones. Like I said, Mason Jones has the head of a brick, bro. So I think a decision win here is still a big deal for Axel. So I think Axel Sola gets it done either way, KO or decision.
Yeah, I'm right there with you with Joe, or I'm right there with Joe. I got Axel Sola. I got Axel Sola winning this fight.
And he's the
I was on
underdog.
Axel Sola, as soon as I had seen this fight. I did have a little bit of worries, with the wrestling with Mason Jones. But when I was doing my research, like Joe was talking about, came across this documentary that was posted 2 days ago of Axel Sola. The narrator was talking about Axel Sola decided to go to Dagestan for his training camp leading up to this fight with Mason Jones. And in the video or in the documentary, Sola is participating in literally everything. He's participating in everything with these Dagestanis. Their diet, the way that they're living. He literally went to Dagestan 2 3 months and forgot.
Yeah.
So Axel Sola, I am very confident to pick him in this fight. I believe that he will have the right game plan going into this, and I believe he will be prepared for the wrestling and the grappling that Mason Jones will pull out. And I do think that Axel Sola, I think he might be able to rock Mason Jones. I think he might be able to rock Mason Jones. Yeah, Mason Jones kind of does have a brick head, but he did get hurt by Belagioki. Belagioki did rock him, and then Mason Jones came back with that wrestling and that grappling. So knowing that Axel Sola is very well rounded when it comes to the striking and the kickboxing, and now that he is training and participating and wrestling, and not only just wrestling, but going to Dagestan of all places and training with those guys, I can confidently say I think Alex Sola, the underdog in this fight, is going to win over Mick Jones. So that is my pick for this fight.
All right.
Going into the next one, though, Curtis Campbell versus Danny Silva. I am very interested in this fight. I like Danny Silva. This is the debut of Curtis Campbell. But my pick is going to be Danny Silva in this fight. I'm going to go with the underdog again, going up against a dude making his debut. Curtis Campbell, though, he ain't no slouch. You look at his picture right there, you're like, that dude. He got his little pineapple ponytail up right now, and he got his glasses on, hella magnified. His eyes are big as hell. He looks like a nerd. Nah, bro, this dude's a nasty. He's a nasty little dude.
Mm.
He's a little freak, bro. He'll jump on your back and fucking grapple the shit out of you. But that's pretty much what you could expect from Curtis Campbell. He is a great he has great ground game. He has great wrestling and grappling. But Danny Silva, though, I am a huge fan of Danny Silva ever since I saw him fight Kevin Valios. Did he win that fight? No. Did he look great? Yeah, he looked pretty fucking good. Stood compared to the recent wins Kevin Valios has had. Danny Silva went to decision with him, lost by decision. He got pieced in. He got pieced in that fight. There's no doubt about that. But Danny Silva stood there and he banged with Kevin Valios the entire time, and there was a lot of points where Danny Silva looked very good in some of those exchanges. And one thing I will point out, because I wanna have more information to back up what I say here. Me and Joe were doing research. Danny Silva has pretty good takedown defense. He
Mm.
has pretty good takedown defense. Yes, some of these fighters that he's fighting, are they at the level where Curtis Campbell is? No. But I have the confidence in Danny Silva that he will be able to keep this fight on somewhat on the feet. I'm not saying Curtis Campbell's not going to be able to get a takedown or secure something up against the cage, but I think if this fight stays on the feet, Danny Silva will be able to edge it out, and I think Danny Silva will be able to get it done on the judges' scorecards. I don't really see a finish here for Danny Silva. If I were to be honest, if there were a finish here, I see a finish for Curtis Campbell locking up some crazy fucking submission.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I'm on the side of Curtis Campbell. I mean, maybe I'm being a bit of a square here, but I think yeah, I think if it gets to the ground, it's Curtis Campbell's world all day. I think if it stays standing, it probably does favor Danny Silva. He kind of reminds you of another guy, Adrian Yanez, where he kind of just has a bit of that
The
that me-
skinnier version. He's the skinnier, taller version.
he's got that Mexican boxing style, man. I mean, he's got some good boxing. He definitely got his ass beat by Vallejos, but he didn't get chinned, didn't get knocked out. And I think that speaks a lot, especially like you said, to talk about Vallejos' most recent performances. So I think it holds up well. Um, I don't see Curtis Campbell knocking him out. I think it's just going to be a long, grueling fight. And if there is a finish, I agree with you. I think it's on the side of Campbell. It's not going to be either like a rear naked, or maybe Danny Silva gets it on a shot because he does shoot a few takedowns here and there in his fights. So if he does shoot in, I'm worried if he gets his neck snatched by Curtis. That's how he goes out, is on a gilly or some shit. So this is a fun fight. It's definitely one that I'm very intrigued on, and it's the main event
Pros-
or main card
Prospect
opener.
fight for
So
sure.
yeah, next card or next fight. Um, Roman Dolidze, Christian Leroy Duncan. Man, I've watched Christian Leroy since he came into the UFC, and you know, it's been a long time coming to see him finally in the rankings fighting ranked opposition. And I don't think there's any better fight for him to prove himself than this one. Roman Dolidze is a bit of a brute. He's got decent grappling, but he's nasty with his kicks. He's nasty with his punches. But Christian Leroy is just that much better. I think right now he's really just turning a new leaf. I think he's finding that next level in his skill set. I think he's really just rounding out and becoming just a more elite fighter. Last time we saw him out was against Marco Tulio. Fucking smoked Marco Tulio. Before that,
Yeah.
starch Eric Anders, who we just saw go bout to bout, or fucking bell to bell with Brad Tavares. Um, I think Christian Leroy can probably walk through Roman Dolidze. The last time I saw Roman Dolidze, he just got his fucking ass whooped by Fluffy, dude. I mean, dude got mollywopped for 3 rounds and then got dragged by his neck across the octagon
Yeah.
and tapped halfway across. So I mean, who knows where he's at confidence wise? It's one of those ass whoopings because like we saw Fluffy do the same thing to Michelle Pereira, and Michelle Pereira has not been the same since he got that ass whooping by Fluffy. So are we going to come out? Are we going to see a very unconfident Roman Dolidze now because he's like, wow, maybe I'm just not as good as I think I am because Fluffy just fucking made me look like shit. Who knows? And Christian Leroy is a guy that can definitely take advantage of that. He's a bigger fighter. He's going to be the same height, but he's going to have a longer reach. And he uses every piece of that. He's got great kicks. He has good high kicks, good low kicks. He's got good elbows. We've seen him throw some crazy shit. I think he's just going to be the stronger fighter. I think his wrestling defense is going to hold up. I think Delize is going to try and get in on the takedowns. I don't see him getting taken down. I see him, getting him against the cage and probably getting some knees off. So, yeah, I think Leroy can probably finish this one inside the distance, if I'm being honest with you. I think he can probably get a knockout here.
Yeah, 100%. Just to build off, what Joe is saying here, I just gonna start out by saying I do have CLD. I honestly have CLD to win this fight by knockout against Roman Dolidze. It does suck to say. I really like Roman Dolidze. I
Mhm,
think he's a badass fighter. He's just a really he's a badass fighter. But yeah, he got bitched by Anthony Hernandez. Um, he was on a little bit of a win streak there, a little bit of a win streak. Um, but I feel like in this fight, Delize will have. I feel like he will have the confidence. I have to disagree with you with the fluffy take. I feel like Delize will have a little bit more confidence going into this fight because Delize he is a grappler. He does have that in his back pocket, but Delize he's more of a kickboxer.
mhm,
And I feel like he will try to implement that against CLD. And the moment we see Delize try to go for grappling or a takedown is when Delize is on the verge of getting finished. I do see CLD going in there and just giving everything to Delize on the feet. I don't think Delize will have any answers for anything. I think CLD will be a lot faster and his strikes will be a lot more cleaner.
mhm.
I think he'll get Delize really hurt, and like I said, we're gonna see Delize shoot for a takedown, go for some type of grappling, and CLD is just gonna take advantage of that. So my pick here is gonna be CLD inside the distance.
All right, moving on to
Oh, oh, oh,
the
oh.
sacrifice of the card. So we'll call it the sacrifice because Baranowski is a light heavyweight. Austin Lane, most of you know him as a heavyweight, and we most of you know him as the what do you call it? The sparring buddy, the dude who goes in and gets his head drummed on. Mario Pinto, the guy that Z was just talking about. This is the guy that got knocked out by Mario Pinto uh, a year ago. Yeah, uh, the pick is Ewo. I mean, it's pretty. I feel like it's pretty obvious. I feel like it's a very bad decision on Austin Lane's part to go from being a career heavyweight to now you're going to go back to light heavyweight, and you're 38 years old. It's one of those times where you're too old to be making cuts like that. You weighed in at 245, and now you got to make 206. It's just a very questionable thing because Ewo has not been outside of the first round in his professional career.
That
He's
is a crazy stat
yeah. I mean,
for
like,
s- for being for being 7-0.
yeah, seven wins in the first round. So I mean, it's obvious what's going to happen here. I mean, I don't really think we need to say much about it, but I will just say Ewo is a nasty. He came off Contender Series, fucking smoked Buddy on Contender Series, and then had that great fight with Ebo. Had me sweating in the casino watching that because Ebo got rocked by Ebo. It was the Ebo showdown, and Ebo had him hurt, and then Ebo had him hurt, and they were just dropping each other left and right, and then Ebo finally got the last say in it, got him out of there. That was insane. That was such a fun fight to watch.
That was a crazy fight. We were sitting at the blackjack table, and we
Yeah.
just fucking we were like, "Hold up, we can't play this hand." We turned around, we were watching the fight.
Yeah. Yeah, and Austin Lane, yeah, I mean, it's just a bad move on his part. I mean, he had that one win, a year and a half ago against Robles de Spain. Robles de Spain's not even in the UFC anymore. That dude was a one hit wonder. Went over to karate combat. He's kicking ass in karate combat because that's his style. He can't grapple for shit, but he's long and he's tall and he can kick well. I mean, that's where he's gonna thrive. But here in the UFC, yeah, it's you all day. You was gonna make a name for himself here. Probably look for some sort of highlight reel knockout.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I just all I really have to say on this fight is just a lot of shit talking on Austin Lane. I mean, you did great on the regional scene, but you come and you get on the contender series and you beat a dude who is a nobody. He's nowhere near the UFC. He lost in the LFA, but forget about him. His only win in the UFC is against, like you just said, Rebellis de Spain. Rebellis de Spain is terrible at MMA.
Mhm.
He's terrible when there's grappling and wrestling involved.
Yeah.
Uh and every other time Austin Lane has gone out, he's gotten chinned every single. He's either gotten chinned or he's gotten choked out.
Yeah. So,
Jonathan Diaz knocked him out. I think Iwo Barneski is going to go out there and just absolutely flatline Austin Lane, and it's probably going to happen in the first round.
yeah.
So that's probably going to be my pick. It sucks because there's probably not going to be a whole lot of money to be made on this fight. Those odds are probably going to be juiced as fuck. But I think Iwo I think Iwo's going to go out there and
Rudy,
absolutely
Rudy.
ditch him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a fight where he just walks through him. So,
Yeah,
keep that round
100%.
1 streak. That's gonna be the play
Yeah.
probably come Friday is round 1, round 1
Yeah.
Baranowski. Moving on to our next fight, and it's a fight that we were scratching our heads when we first saw it get announced, and, I still don't know how to feel about it. I mean, Michael Venom Page has been I don't know. I think he feels pretty pissed off with the UFC for them not respecting his wishes and giving him, better opposition. And that's no disrespect to Sam Patterson, but Michael Venom Page just did the UFC a favor fighting Jared Cannonier up, and then he before that fought Shire Bullet, fought Yo Machado, fought Kevin Holland. Like he has these wins, and you have a guy who's not in the rankings coming off of those wins. And yeah, Sam Patterson's got 4 wins in a row, and they're 4 finishes in a row. Yeah, it's a good win for Sam Patterson, but it should not be, hey, here's Michael Venom Page. My pick in this one's Michael Venom Page. I think, the story is that these guys have sparred together. Both these guys are from the UK region. So I mean, that's kind of the recipe. If you're gonna figure out MVP, no better than to be the guy that trained with them. But MVP is still one of a kind. He's a guy that is very fucking hard to figure out. If you don't get a hold of him, that's your first problem. Sam Patterson, we know him more for his grappling than for his striking, but his striking has looked better as of late. He's on a two knockout streak right now, in his last four. But I just don't see that happening. I don't see you getting a hold of Michael Venom Page. He's too elusive. He's too quick, especially what he's 39 now, about to be 39. And yeah, I see Michael Venom Page walking through Sam Patterson. I would love to say he'd get a KO, but since MVP's been in the UFC, I don't think he's had a KO, right? He had a decision loss, decision loss,
No.
decision loss. Yeah, no. So I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say because like I said, these guys have trained together, so who knows what kind of performance we're gonna see. But I still am really on the Michael Venom Page train here, and I think they need to put some respect on his name as far as the UFC matchmakers are concerned. They need to do better.
Yeah, 100%. Um, I don't really want to make a pick on this, but if I were, I guess I would say MVP. One thing I am eyeing is just this fight not going the distance. I think it could go either way, in
Yeah.
my opinion. You know, one thing I was a little worried about, because that's the biggest thing for MVP is that he's usually the bigger fighter, the longer fighter in a lot of these fights, and he's able to do that MVP fight style. But in this fight, he's getting to Sam Patterson, like you just said. They've sparred before. Sam Patterson knows what he's looking at, and they're the same height, and there's an inch difference in their arm range.
Mhm.
So, in my opinion, I feel like it could go either way, and I feel like it's not gonna go the distance. Like you said, MVP, he's a little pissed right now, and I 100% agree with him. I mean, I would be pissed too. He's coming off of a crazy, crazy career. What was he fighting? Bellator?
Yeah, he's a Bellator guy.
Yeah, you know, he's coming from Bellator, and a lot of fans were so excited to see MVP finally get into the UFC. And it's kind of crazy that they're not putting that respect on him. You know, they're not actually giving him a path to get to that title or actually try to get to a title shot.
Yeah.
You know, I think one of the things is though, well, that was his only fight where he moved up to middleweight. Well, did he fight Kevin Holland at middleweight, or was that welterweight?
I think that was probably welterweight Kevin Holland. Yeah.
I mean, if I had to pick, it'd be MVP to win this fight. But overall, I don't think this fight's gonna go the distance.
All right. Moving into the co-main, Luke Riley, Michael Aswell Jr. This being the co-main is kind of diabolical. I feel like we're
Yeah,
watching. I
just a
feel like we're
little
watching
bit.
the Patty 2.0. You know, this is another guy that trains in Patty's camp, and he gets pushed into the spotlight on a co-main card in UFC London when there's a guy like MVP on the card who could be on the co-main. But here we are. My pick in this one is going to be Luke Riley. He's the undefeated fighter. Last time we saw him out was against Bogdan Grad, and he fucking smoked Buddy. I remember watching that fight, and yeah, I mean his hands are insane. He's got great boxing. On the other side, I got Michael Aswell, who I wouldn't rate very highly. I mean, he's losing to Bogdan Grad, MMA math. He lost to him on a split. Luke Riley, like I just said, fucking smoked him out. And then he loses to Balazioki, who we don't rate very highly. We just talked about in the recap. If you haven't seen the recap, go check it out. We just talked about Balazioki on there. Not very high level fight IQ. So Michael Aswell, I think it's your time to give Luke Riley another win under his belt. And it's probably gonna come by KO. I think Luke Riley's gonna go out there
Yeah.
and kind of put a stamp on it and get his name pushed into the spotlight a bit here. Um, yeah, I don't really have much to say on it. Like I said, I just don't think this should be a co-main.
um, I would. The only way I see myself being happy with this being the co-main though is Luke Riley going out there and absolutely knocking out Michael Oswell.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of has to. He kind of has to here. You know,
Mhm.
like you just said, they're kind of pushing him into the spotlight. They're giving him a co-main event in London,
Yeah.
in his home, in front of the home crowd.
Mhm.
Yeah, if Luke Riley doesn't go out there and just straight give belt to ass and finish Michael Aswell, then
Feels like a
I don't know.
disappointment. for
It
sure.
it it would be a disappointment, 100%, because in my opinion, they have so many other like fighters that I feel like should be in front of this fight. Like the CLD Roman Dolidze, in my
That
opinion,
that is a big one, yeah.
should be
Because both
after
those
this
guys are
fight,
ranked. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. This fight should be in front of that. And in my opinion, the MVP fight should be the co-main just because it's MVP,
yeah. And who knows how much
you
longer he's
know?
gonna fight, really.
Exactly. So, but Luke Riley, though, that's my pick. I don't really have much else to say about this. I think Luke Riley, he does his skill level way
Yeah,
better than Aswell here. I would be surprised if Michael Aswell goes out there and gives an upset.
yeah.
So, Luke Riley, I think he'll get it done inside the distance in the co-main event. Moving into the next fight, which is the last fight of the night, and if you guys have on the video, we appreciate it. Leave a comment, let us know how you're doing, and subscribe if you haven't already. Getting into the main event of the night, Mosvar Evliov versus Liron the Miracle Murphy. Both these guys are undefeated. Both of these guys are undefeated. I don't remember the last time I've seen two undefeated dudes, especially at this level. I think the last time I've seen it was Javkat versus Ian Gary. That was the last time I seen
Yeah,
two dudes who were undefeated at this level of fucking of
yeah,
MMA.
yeah.
I mean, this is going to be a insane fight. My pick in this fight though is Leon Murphy. I'm going with the underdog in this fight. And the main reason why is I just feel like Leon Murphy has climbed such a bigger mountain leading up to where he's at in this weight division. Mosvar, yeah, he beat Aljo, but in my opinion, that's probably his only impressive win is that he beat Aljo recently. Yes, he beat Lopez. He beat Dan Ige. He beat Lopez on a short notice fight. Lopez almost got him. Lopez
Mhm.
almost won that fight. And another thing as well is Mosvar hasn't really shown us a whole lot. He hasn't showed us what he's really capable of. You know, the biggest thing that he's shown us that is that he's a fucking wet blanket and that he could dominate on the ground and he
Yeah.
could keep you on the ground. I mean, go and watch the Aljamain Sterling fight. Tell me you don't get fucking bored by the end of fucking round one. Cause that's the entire fight. It's just them just fucking rolling around like a fucking bundle, like a tumbleweed, like a tumbleweed rolling around in the exactly what that fight was. It was just a white dude and a black guy. Anyways, Leon Murphy though, what?
Let
What? That's so true though,
let him
bro.
cook.
It was literally a tumbleweed, bro, rolling around in the octagon. It's both these dudes just scrambling. Was it high level? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I'm not dissing on it. I'm not saying it was terrible to watch. It was very high level. That's exactly what it was, you know.
Mhm.
That's exactly what Mosvar does. He is a decision fiend. And you have Leon Murphy on the other hand, who has shown us what he's capable of. He gets Aaron Pico, steps in on short notice against Aaron Pico, and goes out there and fucking flatlines him, bitches him. I had Aaron Pico. I wanted Aaron Pico to win, but Leon Murphy fucking goes out there and just bitches him, just bitches Pico.
The spinning elbow.
Uh, yeah, spinning elbow puts him out. Other than that, exactly like I said, Leon Murphy has carved his way through this division. He's beaten a lot of these real experienced dudes, and he's done it in pretty dominant fashion. So my pick here is going to be the underdog to get it done against the wet blanket decision fiend Mosvar Evliov. I got Leon Murphy.
Okay. Uh, I will start off by saying that I'm on the same side as Z. I am on Lerone Murphy to get the win here, and it's with caution. I mean, yeah, he's almost a 2-to-1 underdog, and they actually
It
they,
is with caution. I agree,
yeah,
Joe.
because I mean, it is Movsar Evloev. He's been the guy that's been in the title talks for a hot minute now, but he's also a guy who's been pulled out every other fight. That fight you just talked about, that Lerone Murphy was going to fight Aaron Pico. Aaron Pico was supposed to fight Movsar, and Movsar fucking pulled out. And so Lerone filled in for him and handled business, took Aaron Pico out of the picture. And then now we're here. Now it's just you two. And it's already been talked about. They said winner of this gets the title shot. And if we really want the health of the UFC to be in good hands, you want Lerone Murphy to win. You should be rooting for Lerone Murphy because Movzar, like we just talked about, he's pulling out every other fight. Who knows how long we're going to be waiting for a title shot if Buddy wins and they just already guaranteed him the title shot. Like it could be one thing where if Movzar wins that title, we might not see Buddy fight fucking more than once a year. You know, we might be getting that same sort of shit that Hamzat's doing. So as a UFC fan, you should be on the side of Lerone Murphy. Both these guys are undefeated, so I mean, like the rooting interest is there for both. Like if someone's O has to go, of course. I think Lerone Murphy has fought the better. Like I said, he's fought the better mountain of guys. He's had the better competition. I mean, both these guys are fighting guys that are kind of tailored to what the other guy excels at. Like Movzar is fighting Diego Lopez. Both these guys are great grapplers. And Movzar is just, he's able to just nullify it because he's just more of the wet blanket type. Fought Arnold Allen. Movzar kind of handled business through 2 rounds. And the third, he started to get problems. Arnold Allen started to find some success in the striking. And last time out, it was just high level wrestling. And Movzar had the better wrestling because American wrestling and MMA doesn't hold up as well as Russian wrestling does. And then Lerone Murphy on their side, fought Josh Coolbaugh, whatever. Fought Edson Barbosa, old ass kickboxer. Edson needs to probably retire. Lerone did get dropped in that fight, which is one thing I will note. Fought Dan Ige, kind of had the same problem with Dan Ige. He ran into a little bit of trouble with Dan Ige, but he did handle it. Went to a decision win. Fought Josh Emmett, smoked Josh Emmett for 5 rounds. This was the main event. Smoked him out 5 rounds. It was a pretty boring fight. And then fought Aaron Pico and got the finish. That's one of the big that was like the big thing that was like, okay, are we seeing Leon Murphy kind of turn a new leaf? Is he kind of growing that killer instinct now? Because it was a nasty spinning elbow. Aaron Pico kind of I think he was winning on a takedown. He was going for a double leg against the fence or something and just got met with an elbow. Kind of just
Yeah,
timed it up.
bad.
Yeah, timed it up and got him out of there. And it was a big deal. I mean, you're finishing a guy that was supposed to fight Mozart and now you're here. And I think Laurel Murphy is more than deserving of the title shot. I think Mozart just hasn't done enough in the eyes of UFC. I think you just kind of have to address it because he's just been in the top of the rankings for so long, but he just hasn't been fighting. And so it's like I think the UFC themselves is hoping that Laurel Murphy wins
Yeah.
because they're just like, we need to just get Evloev the fuck out of here because he's just not fighting as frequently as we like. So yeah, I think Lauren Murphy gets it done. I think this fight probably does go a decision. It's two high level guys. Both guys are undefeated. I mean, I don't know if either guy is going to really try and push the pace as much as we would like to see. I think this is going to be a really low volume fight, and we do know Lauren Murphy's going to get taken down. It's just, are we going to see him bounce up and not get the wet blanket treatment? Because that's kind of
Yeah.
been the theme of 2026. We're seeing some of these guys that have that really high level wrestling, and they're just given the wet blanket treatment. Like, we just saw Charles Oliveira give it to Max Holloway. We've seen it's just happened a few times and it's been really boring. We saw Hamzat do it to DDP. I mean, there's plenty of other fights that you can go back and talk about with it, and Islam and JDM. But I just hope we don't see it here. That's one thing as a UFC fan that will really fucking like piss me off because it's just been kind of a lame year, and that would really put the stamp on it. Main events after main
Yeah.
events. Another thing I'll note: underdogs have had some really good success in 2026. The underdog I think is like 4-2 or 4-3 or something like that. Like they're actually better in the main event this year so far. So it's one thing to note. And Lauren Murphy is the underdog, so take with
Yeah,
that what you will.
one thing I also want to say too is if you want a little bit more hype behind the underdog story with Leon Murphy, or just to add a story to him being an underdog as well. Leon Murphy got fucking shot
Hmm.
when he was young. He got shot. I'm pretty sure he got shot right in the cheek as well. And right after that, he turned to MMA, and
That's where the
he
miracle come
fucking
from.
he yep, he changed his life. So the fact that he has that as his
Underdog story,
background
man.
story, and he's the big underdog, and he's fighting at home in front of his home crowd. Give me Leon Murphy all day, bro. I feel very confident on betting and picking Leon Murphy to win in this main event. That's all I have to say on this fight, though. Very hyped for it, especially for that main event. It's gonna be a fucking banger. Um,
Yeah.
appreciate you guys for watching this video. If you stuck around this long, thank you very much. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, that's it for the full card betting breakdown. Next episode is gonna be Friday, where we go over the lines, talk about the bets, give you guys some ideas on what we would like to see line wise, and yeah, we'll just go from there. So keep an eye on the other platforms. We'll be dropping on the other platforms throughout the week, mostly TikTok and Instagram. So go check those out. It's same username, Cozy Boys MMA. So yeah. With that being said, with that being said, though, guys, we will see you guys in the next one. Stay cozy.
Yep. Stay cozy.
Peace.